There is a treasure in this one. There is a secret diamond-like gem in the rough that I was reading through and had to, like, when I stopped on this little idea, I was like, this is it. We gotta have news from heaven about this thing. So we're gonna give that to you. Just give it to you so you can keep it. And we're going to do that in the context of talking about how angels become leaders. And like, do you want to be a force for good? How about you, okay, I want to change the world, so what am I going to do? Like, go and learn from people who've been successful in business or successful in advocacy. How about angels? How about people who are, a couple of stories up on the divine skyscraper, close to the God? Is that a good pitch? All right, well, we're going to do it here today. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. That helps the show get out there. And what you can do to follow along is there's a free book, True Christianity Volume 2. Dust that thing off. Download it in the link here. We're going to be reading through, and really, I'm telling you, what we're going to talk about here is the pursuit of joy, the pursuit of happiness. And what does that look like, and how does that shape who we are? Because the situation is like this. Okay, so we've got our lives. Let's say this is us here. Today, this guy looks a little suspiciously like me if my hair was a little more, less crazy. And we've got our life, and there are all these things that are bad, or things that cause problems, things that cause us distress, and it's always trying to paint this picture of how are we going to be happy? Everybody is hardwired to want some kind of happiness. Like, how am I going to set it up so that I can have a life where I'm happy? And we are often wondering, so what are the sources of happiness? There's all these negative sources, these false, deceptive sources, like if superiority to other people, getting my way, pursuit of idle sensory gratification, whatever it is. That get in there, and it's hard. You know, there's something good up there. Yeah, God is really going to be great, and there's some heaven kind of thing we're supposed to go toward. But it's hard because these negative things will dangle things that they say, look, go through this hoop and you'll get joy. Go through this hoop and you'll get joy. These are the things. But what's the divine's path? What is something that's not way up here, but something we can understand on this level that lets us know, if I go through here, dodging that stuff, I can really be happy? What are we building that we can be sure of? That's what we're going to look at today. This is number 661, subsection 13. We're in the middle of a big long story about how the things we care about play out in life after death. And up here we've got all kinds of what happens when it goes wrong. We've just come from this session of this group of people who are all bent on dominating everyone, and they play this ridiculous game of switching where one thinks they're the ruler, then they try to take over and everyone else kicks them out. It's just this is the squandering of human potential that comes with believing that the greatest joy in life is being superior to other people and exercising dominion over other people. So what's the reverse of that? How can you be getting something done? Be in a position where you're spearheading something or a leader, but yet do it from love. Okay, here's some angels, and these angels are talking to Swedenborg. We came down from heaven, they replied, because we received a command from the Lord to tell you about the blissful outcome that awaits people who want to be in charge because they love being useful. Oh, the Lord is getting involved. We got ourselves a command from the Lord. This is the kind of stuff that follows Swedenborg around. Which makes me think he's not just kind of freelance going into the afterlife and seeing what's going on. There's some kind of hookup here. God is saying, go fill Swedenborg in on this. Now, I don't know exactly what that looks like, because is that like angels? Let's say these are the angels. Angels believe and see and perceive that everything is from the Lord. So for them to say, we got a command from the Lord, doesn't necessarily mean it's like, I'm telling you in my real voice, go do that. It could be that they had a feeling that they identified. I don't know how direct that was, but it is interesting that they're saying, look, this is important that we fill you in on this right now, ostensibly so that he could come and tell us, because what this God voice wants is to reach everybody, all of us little dots down here, with the truth. And are we getting some of that shining through here? You be the judge. How does it resonate in your heart when we get there? The blissful outcome that awaits people who want to be in charge because they love being useful. You can want to be in charge. But what does this in charge mean? We just spent the last part of this number. Go read it for yourself. Looking at how there can be all this misery from wanting to be in charge for the wrong reasons, and I don't have to tell you that. You know. All of our lives are negatively affected by people who want to be in charge for the wrong reasons. The world is in a state much worse than it could be because of people who want power to serve their own ends instead of to serve what? What's the alternative? And it's wanting to have power because they love being useful. And remember, as we go through, there is a little treasure box we're searching for in here. So where's the treasure? How is it going to pop up? We both worship the Lord, okay? Well, this is angel number 1. This is angel number 2. We both worship the Lord. I'm the leader of our community. Yeah, in heaven they have societies that are structured like we structure them with leadership positions. The other angel here is the highest ranking priest in our community. Yeah, there are religious institutions, not in every community of heaven, but there are, okay? So we've got this angel is the leader. Oh, shoot, I thought I was going to give some easy indication that this is the leader. Okay. What would it be? Okay, this is a crown. That leader's, I don't know if they really had a monarch, but that leader's the ruler, and this one is the priest. So we'll put a cross, for the symbol of priestly Christianity. Okay, highest ranking priest in our community. So these are two important people, in the 1700s in heaven. The leader then said, so this leader then said that he was a servant of his community. A public servant. And what does that mean? In that he served it by doing useful things for it. Love being useful is the key to getting things done in a way that leads to good instead of bad. And remember, as we're looking, what can be in this heart here? So something here has got to do with being useful. That is the key to heaven. That's the happiness. But how exactly do we latch on to that? The other angel said, so that's the function of the leader. Like, I do useful things. I'm not the leader because people do what I say. I'm the leader because I do things that serve the common good. The other angel said he was a minister to the church there. Okay, and you've heard this word maybe used, minister. Think about what that word actually means. To the church there, in that by serving the members of the community, he was administering holy things that were useful for their souls. So the whole point of this one is I need to give you things that are useful for your journey. Because even there, we're taking a spiritual journey. So these two, even though I've drawn them huge here, which kind of defeats the purpose, all this one is doing is a conduit from God to give out useful things for the civil life of the community, and this one is a conduit to give out things for the ethical, religious, spiritual life of the community. They both said, and here we go, this is it, this is getting really close to our treasure chest here, because you don't think of this only in the context of leaders, but this is an amazing window into what heavenly happiness is. What is this that can come out of God that can be so much better than all the things the negative stuff is offering us? And how do you replace their joys? Seem so immediate, like winning, whatever it is, whatever negative thing gets us going. That's like, yeah, I really get it. I get how that can make me happy. What's here that we can latch onto? Okay. You're hyping this up too much. They're not going to think it's that good. It's like a joke with no punchline. All right, but I got to do it. Just, come on, they can hear you. Oh, hey. All right, let's keep going. They both said they experienced lasting joys that came from an eternal happiness they felt from the Lord. They both said they experienced lasting joys. So we've got our joy here, right? That's not the problem. They came from an eternal happiness they felt from the Lord. It's interesting that you can say, I feel something from an eternal happiness. Isn't eternal, by definition, lasts forever, so how would you know if it's eternal? But there must be something tangibly in the joy you experience there that's different than a temporary, that you can feel this is part of a permanent state of joy that they feel from the Lord. Okay, let's dig into that joy. What's your joy like? Our community is gleaming and magnificent in every way, they said. So we're getting into what the decoration of the community. What's this all about? This is a response to something that was earlier in the story, but let's look into how things appear externally and how that matches what's internal. All the gold and precious stones make it gleam. So you have art in architecture. The mansions and parks make it magnificent. It's a good-looking place, right? The kind of place you would want to visit on vacation. But this is the question. Why? Opulence for opulence sake doesn't make something heaven. We love being in charge because we love being useful, not because we love ourselves. Love for being useful comes from the Lord. Because of the origin they have, all the good and useful things in the heavens have a gleam and a radiance to them. And if it really is, as Swedenborg says, that there are these levels of reality, right? And you have God up tippy top, and then you have heaven, and you have another layer of heaven, and you have another layer of heaven, and then you have us. What do we want to be? Are we the earth? Okay. And everything, whatever is sent down here, ripples down. Okay. If there is usefulness coming out of God, usefulness being the ability to make somebody happy lastingly, and to promote somebody's welfare, that is what shiny, gleamy radiance is. I mean, that the beauty of this stuff that we chase here. You know, we like gold. We like gems. We like things that look nice. Why? What's the root source of that? It's because when they get down to this level, they are the outermost semblance of the gleam of usefulness in things. And so this is why there's this appeal. But if we separate them, if we divorce them from the usefulness, if we just say, I want to hoard wealth of whatever kind, separate from the use it can do for everyone, then the correspondence is broken. And then you get this folding in this corrupt state. Since this is a type of love that all the members of our community have, the very atmosphere there looks golden, because the light there comes from the warm blaze of the sun, and that warm blaze corresponds to this love of ours. Dictates the environment, and all the members of the community have it. So it's not just the leaders. Everybody there is driven by it, okay? This means you and I can be driven by a love of being useful. That's not super legible. There's a love of being useful, but to what? To what end? When they said that, I noticed a similar atmosphere around them. It smelled beautifully fragrant. Hey, when you love something that's actually beautiful, because we can all have our what we really like, and if it's self-aggrandizement, or it's the harming of other people, or it's laziness, or whatever it is, a lot of the times we wouldn't want people to know that. You kind of put on a public persona, and listen, all of us have this stuff in us, and we're working through it. We put on a public persona that seems like nice and affable, and the kind of person you'd want everyone to think you are, because the kind of person we want everyone to think we are is the person that goes back and actually has kind, affable, upright thoughts and schemes for everyone. When you actually get that in line, which is the process we're working on, and the stuff what's inside you is as beautiful as this stuff we all want to project, guess what? Your spirit smells good. Isn't the smell test how you know if something's rotten inside, even if it looks good on the outside? When you get to this state of harmony, where the Lord has, through a process that can take our whole lives, brought what's good and true into our very motivations and thoughts, then you smell good. You smell good in the spirit. It smells like somebody stuck a little Glade plug-in into your soul. That's not funny? Oh, okay. When they said that, yeah, right. They had this beautifully fragrant thing around them. I mentioned that to them. Hey, by the way, smells good. And also asked that they say some more about what it is to love being useful. Because if I were you, I'd be saying, I was tuned into this show, and Curtis is always talking about, you gotta love being useful, but that just sounds like a phrase, and you're not defining it well, and you're not giving me anything new that is gonna be better than any Hallmark card that says, be nice to people when that's good. So what do we get here? I hope this comes through. They went on to say, we did indeed aspire to the high positions we now hold, but for the sole purpose of being more fully useful and expanding and broadening that usefulness. You can want to be in a position where you get things done. There can be times where you're at let's say your place of business, and you realize, look, this thing is being done wrong. If I was in there, I could fix this up. You can look at a society and say, man, I would like to get to a position where I can be part of policy so that I can fix this. That desire to be in a high position is not itself a problem. The only problem is if you're not trying to do that because of usefulness. And these people, even in heaven, we are also inundated with honors, and we accept them not for our own sake, but for the good of the community. So even there, people are giving esteem to these positions. And look at this. So this must not be that high up in heaven. This must be somewhere sort of, if you got the celestial angels there and then the hells and stuff below, this is some heaven that's kind of in the middle here. Because not everybody is totally hip to what's going on. Our friends and companions who make up the wider population of the community hardly realize that the honors that go along with the high positions we hold are not actually ours, or that the useful things we do are not coming from us. But we know. And look at this. We can actually sense that the honors that accompany these high positions are outside of us. They are like clothing that has been put on us. Think about that description. That if you were to get to a place where you are making big decisions and doing things and a lot of eyes are on you and you're doing it well, because, you're in heaven, so you must have something going right. And people are saying, great job. And that they actually literally feel, I can even tell as I do these things, that the Lord is doing this, and that the honor that's on me, you don't take any of that as like, look at me. Look at the position. Look at what the Lord is getting done here. That usually we would think, man, if I could get into being some kind of celebrity or leader or something, that the joy would be the honor that you get and the praise that you get. Even I know that doing useful stuff is good, but that would be one of the main joys. But here people are saying, we don't even feel like that's ours. We can tangibly tell that that's just a raincoat that we're wearing. We don't soak up any of this feeling that we are of some superior stock to these other people. That is a real disappointment, because that was going to be, what I looked around to get at. Okay, the joy of being useful, that would be you get to lead good people and think that you're really great because you've done great things. Well, then what are we looking for? Where's the joy in any of this? They are like clothing that has been put on us, these honors and things, and even the things that they do. The useful things we do, though, come from a love for those useful things that is planted in us by the Lord. This is it. This is the treasure chest. I'll draw it one more time. This is the thing, when I was reading, that to me was a huge deal. This is what's going to change the world. This love, the love of usefulness, finds its bliss in the shared experiences with others that happen in the course of those useful activities. Where is your peak of joy? As you go throughout your day, what are the things, actually I shouldn't say throughout your day, as we go throughout our lives, what are the things we look forward to? What is the happiest that we get? There is a huge propaganda campaign out there inside the minds and hearts of people that's, according to Swedenborg, bubbling up from hell through our sense of self-importance, that the greatest joys you can get are in some form of power or wealth. And you may not want to be powerful like a tyrant, but you want to be the most beloved, or you want to be the most respected, or you just, in your little world, you want to be number one or in charge or whatever it is, or you want sensory gratification, whatever. That is the great joy. And when we hear about being useful, well, where's the joy coming from? This is giving you the specifics of what joy becomes the thing that gets you out of bed in the morning, what you're looking for. And it's this, the shared experiences with others that happen in the course of those useful activities. You ever be with a group of people and you're doing something and you form a camaraderie and a joy in what you're accomplishing. I think we've all felt tastes of that. So think of that feeling. And when you really leave self behind for a little bit and you love the people you're working with, and this could be, it doesn't have to be in a job. Think any situation. You're with friends doing something, you're with family doing something. Just picture in your mind sometime when you felt like, we are happy together and we're doing something. We're doing something together and we're happy. That can grow, that you can have the satisfaction in accomplishing something and understanding of a mission and the sense of a greater purpose, the shared experiences. Look, remember, you get back years later and say, remember when we were all, the shared experiences with others, that is the eternal joy that these people are experiencing, that they don't care about the opulence they live in. That doesn't feel like it's theirs. It's a relatively small joy. It's useful, but it's not a big deal. They don't even care about the esteem they have and the positions they have, because neither of those things bring them that much joy. It doesn't matter what something is. If it doesn't bring you a bunch of joy, it doesn't have the value that you think it has when you're staring out and saying, if only I had that, then I would be happy. What does bring them joy is these shared experiences with others that happen in the course of those useful activities. So when we can identify, to me, that's something you can look at. So when you're trying to say, look, I'm not going to chase these negative and false things, because there is something that's out there, and it is these shared experiences of being useful. So it is the community when you're together with people. And I just realized somebody's going to say, I'm kind of an introvert. I don't like, okay, you can be working with people, but you're alone in your office. You can be in communion with a cause without having to be holding hands with a group of people. I'm talking about we're united by purpose, in whatever form that has. There is a group of, and more so when you feel like the whole human race is your group, and that you're trying to serve everybody with the same burning passion for their welfare. It's the shared experiences of, hey, we are working together on this to lift things up. That is where eternal joy finds its bliss, and that is what grows. And that this joy, the promise is this joy actually holds infinitely more potential in it than all the promises of these dark clouds that are trying to say, hey, go this way, because all of these are dead ends. But this, if I could zoom out the page, this goes on, expands forever and gets better and better, whereas these things peter off and wilt and turn into nothing. That, to me, is profound. And I can easily see how it wouldn't be to you. But to give me this focal point, because we're saying, try to be spiritual. I don't know. How do you know I should not focus on these other joys that are leading me? To give me something to focus on and know and trust. That, I understand what that is, that can grow, is a little reassurance as we take this leap of faith away from the things, the negative things that we think we need to depend on for joy, because you got to have joy in life. So that's something that's going to grow. We know from experience that as we carry out useful activities we love, our love for them grows, and along with that love comes wisdom about how to involve others. Oh, I didn't even notice that sentence when I was prepping that. That's awesome. Yes, the more you do good things, and particularly, like, think about the things that maybe you do at your job, whatever it is, you can grow to love something more and more as you understand it more and more fully, and more wisdom about how to involve others, how to bring it in and increase that shared experience of joy. If we hold this usefulness back and do not share it with others, our bliss disappears. Then that plan to become useful becomes like food lodged in our stomach that's not broken down and shared to nourish the body in all its parts, but remains undigested and causes nausea. And that's the news from heaven. We'll end on a beautiful image of nausea. Listen, that's all this is. All the stuff that your negative head clouds are saying, you have to get this or else you won't be happy. This is the way life is. It's a competition. There's something terribly wrong. All they're promising you ends up being undigested food in the pit of your stomach. Whereas this future here is love and life and truth. And it's the system we were made to be in. And there is a future and happiness. And this is the point of getting truth like this that illuminates your mind, because otherwise you can't really see through. You have to have a starting point here to realize, this is where it's at. This stuff ain't nothing. Okay, that's the news from heaven. How'd you like it? Did you enjoy? Like and subscribe. I want to hear in the comments, what's that doing for you? Is there a way that this helped you out, or is there a way you can think of to apply this that I maybe didn't think of? And would you please support this program? Not just this program, but everything we do at Off the Left Eye. Go to otlemonthly.cosvox.com and sign up to be a monthly supporter. That's how we know we can go forward consistently bringing you this stuff 5 days a week, because we know there'll be the support there. Thanks to everyone who has. Thanks for being willing to give me the forum where I can share something that means something to me. And I'd love to hear, what does it mean to you? Leave a comment. Go out. Better yet, tell somebody else. Change the world, and let's get this goodness train rolling. Thanks, guys.